guys, it's Lydia. If you're new here, hi, welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, this is gonna be more of a sit-down chat video. This is just gonna be a podcast style video. I'm gonna be talking about some going back to university advice, kind of what I wish I knew going into it, just ways to get through it and be the best version of yourself while doing it, while maintaining everything else. University is tricky because it's a lot of balancing. When you're first coming out of high school, there's a lot of things people don't tell you about. I'm just gonna explain some of those more challenging things and how I've learned to navigate them. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is kind of a different style video for me, so let me know down in the comments if you like this. These are just gonna be tips and advice in no particular order, so let's just get right into it. I feel like this is fairly common and known, but to go in it with no expectations. If you're going in expecting it's gonna be super easy, you're going to make tons of friends right away, it's gonna be so much fun, partying, all that kind of stuff, don't go into it with any expectations. Don't go in thinking it's good, don't go in thinking it's gonna be terrible, because no matter what you imagine it's going to be, I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna be like that. There's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs. If you're envisioning it a specific way, you don't wanna set yourself up for a disappointment. And you also don't wanna have an idea of how you're expecting it to be, because then if it doesn't turn out that way, you're gonna be kind of thrown off, if you get what I'm saying. Like, don't go in with expectations. This is the most important and most challenging thing I had to learn in my first year was you are no longer the version of yourself you were in high school. You are no longer surrounded by those people. You're no longer in that place. Maybe you're going to a university with some of your high school friends. You need to let go of who you are in high school, because you can't be the same person you were if you're in a different environment, surrounded by different people, doing different things. You are no longer that version of yourself. That era of your life is over. Accepting that that stage of your life is done is really hard, and it definitely takes a lot. You might end up losing your high school friends because you'll realize that you guys were only friends because you're in the same place. You're gonna outgrow some friendships, and it can be really hard learning to figure out who you are without certain people in your life that have always been around. You'll overcome it, you'll make new, better friends, and with that comes being open-minded to new friendships and new connections. If you only hung out with specific groups of people in high school, maybe it was only soccer players, maybe it was, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it was only certain cliques you would hang out with. Be open-minded to new friendships and new connections, and really put yourself in the position to make those friendships. Join clubs that you're interested in, and you'll meet people who are similar to you. Give everybody a chance. Don't write somebody out of the question of being your friend just because you might not have hung out with them in a different time of your life. It's so easy, university, your first year, to just go in assuming you're gonna make all of these friends. It's not as easy as sometimes people make it seem, because you're gonna be so busy during university that unless you're making the effort to go make these friendships and make these connections in classes, in clubs, they're not just gonna magically come to you. You need to step outside your comfort zone and put yourself in the position to make those connections, which is so important, because you are going to need a support system. You're outgrowing your past self. You are in a new environment. You're figuring out what you want to do with your life. You need connections, and you need to put yourself out there, and growth is uncomfortable, but it is so important. Next, we're going to be talking about getting organized and finding a routine. University is a lot less structured. It involves a lot more planning on your own. You're gonna have maybe a couple hours in between classes. Figure out what the best thing you can do to be productive in that time is. So maybe you have 3 hours between a class and you're staying on campus, you're living in res. Is it most beneficial for you to go back and just lay in your room and scroll on TikTok? Or could you go to the library, maybe with a friend before the next class, get started ahead on an assignment, on a reading, so later on that night you can be ahead of the game and have more time. Basically, just getting organized, creating a plan, when are things due, figuring out your schedule, and setting that schedule so you can stay on top of everything every week. It's not like high school where you're gonna have your parents telling you to study. Professors aren't gonna tell you to study. It is all self-discipline, and if you don't wanna do something, there's no one telling you that you need to do it. So getting organized and really being able to trust and rely on yourself to get stuff done is so important in gaining confidence as well. Like, if you know, even on your bad days, you're still gonna get stuff done and stay ahead, you're gonna show up for yourself more, you're gonna be more confident, and you're gonna be more likely to succeed. With that, eliminate distractions. If you're trying to study, set your phone in the other room, set an alarm on your laptop for maybe an hour and just fully focus and engage in that. Sometimes for me, when I'm trying to study, I find I'm a little stressed because I'm focusing on everything else. Before you study, give yourself a little bit of time to actually just think about what needs to get done, and then once you've thought about it, realize there's nothing else I can think about. Now I can fully focus. As I mentioned, school can be very stressful and it can cause a lot of anxiety for people. It can keep people up at night. Find a way to cope with your stress. Maybe that's finding a workout routine. If you don't have time for that, take 10 minutes of your day and go for a fast walk. You can find 10 minutes. Maybe it's artwork, maybe it's singing, maybe it's hanging with a friend, maybe it's FaceTiming a friend, maybe it's venting to a therapist. Whatever it is, you don't want it to compound and have you snap and have you drop out. Figure out how you can manage your stress that works for you and incorporate that into your lifestyle. For me, it's running. I used to hate running. Now I find once I go for a run, my mind is clear. I can fully focus because it's all of my anxiety that I had built up on me. I feel like it's released when I do that. So just try different things and figure out what actually works and stick to it. Now I'm gonna talk about something that's very common and was very common in high school and university, and that is the fact that a lot of stuff is online now, which makes it easier to cheat. Universities have penalties for cheating. My biggest piece of advice is, yes, it might be easy to have your friend send you an assignment or do your online quiz together. Life is so much easier if you actually know the material. First year might be easy to just glide your way through, get your assignments sent to you, do stuff together. But when you move on to in-person quizzes, in-person essays, all that kind of stuff, if you don't actually take the time to learn the material yourself, it's just gonna be harder and harder as you go, and it is not worth getting caught and kicked out of university. I promise you that. Also, you'll feel so much better about yourself when you look at a quiz and you know all of the answers yourself. If you're not ready, take the time to figure it out. There is no timeline. This is something that I feel like everybody knows, but nobody wants to listen, because once you finish high school, sometimes you have that pressure to just go straight into university and you're expected to know what you want to do for the rest of your life, but you're not given all of the options. When I first graduated high school, I was not ready. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to be anything from a wedding planner to a flight attendant, which are completely different courses. So opposite side, like university versus a 3-month flight attendant course. I had no idea what I wanted to do. In high school, I didn't take the time to kind of research my options. What's gonna make me good money? What lifestyle would I actually enjoy? And all that kind of stuff. I just kind of avoided it because it made me so anxious to think about. Taking the time off is okay. You do not need to stick to a timeline everybody else is following. If it takes you 1 extra year to graduate, you're not behind. You might be more clear on what you actually want to do than someone who got through 4 years of university and now is like, now what? Because they never took the time to focus on what they actually wanted to do. Don't rush yourself. If you need to take a year off, take that year off and actually use it to research and think about what you want your life to look like. Like for me, I'm 2 years behind everybody else in my grade. I'm seeing people graduate right now and I'm only in my 2nd year, but I have such a good plan at what I want to do that I don't even care because I'm so confident in my choice. So this is your sign to like take the time to think about it, and if you're not ready, then you're not ready. That goes along with just the whole self-comparison thing. You're on a different path than everybody else. Nobody else is you. you can't compare to someone else who's in a totally different situation. The next is setting boundaries and creating goals for yourself. Maybe that's setting a vision board or inspirational quotes around your room to really think about what you're working towards. It's important to remind yourself why you're doing this and why it's important to you. Those are some just less popular things that I wish I had known going into university. Whatever path you guys are on and whatever you guys are choosing to do, I know you're gonna do amazing even just by watching a video trying to help yourself. You're already one step closer to reaching your goals. So proud of you guys already, and I hope you found this helpful. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.